Hello, Cecil County and the world. It's December 6th, 19 days left till Christmas, and I'm here in the studio, Rob Churnside, with Cecil County's Renaissance man, Scott Wells. He's into a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of fun. Scott, welcome.
Hey, what's going on, Box Man?
I'll tell you what, you couldn't wait for the holidays, could you?
I couldn't. The holidays are my time of year. It's a funny thing. It's like with my wife and my daughter. It's Halloween, and I'm good with Halloween, so I'll get through all of that. But once Halloween's over,
right into Christmas.
Ready to go. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
So you're going to play a Christmas song for us tonight when we get to the music, correct?
Yeah, we sure are. Yes, we are. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your music. You got started on the drums, right?
I did, in Northeast Elementary School.
Yeah.
Way back when whatever, fourth or fifth grade, whatever that was, and started playing the drums, and did that pretty much all the way up through high school. Rock and roll bands and whatnot. Here locally in Northeast with all the other budding musicians at the time, Wayne and Zane Campbell and all those folks. And then went in the service. Got out of high school, went to service, and I decided that the drums were just too much to carry around wherever with me. So I was stationed in New London, Connecticut, and there was a music store called, I believe it was called Bank Street Music, and I went and I bought myself an Applause, which was the fake Ovation. Right. With a rounded back and
plastic back, yeah.
Yeah, plastic back, like a metal fretboard. But I mean, for $150 or whatever it sounded nice, and just started there. It's sort of it's been history since then. Right,
because you picked up other instruments along the way too, right?
Oh yeah. Like everybody. I mean, pretty much everybody else does. You pick this up, pick that up, and you go. And you do your thing. You try to learn something new to offer, a little bit more of a palette of choices.
Even the ukulele, right?
Yes, mandolin, ukulele. A little bit of bass. Even I bought myself not that long ago. I think it's more of a student-sized bass, because like a regular bass is like this,
right?
And that's a little too much for me. But I bought a little short bass, that I can.
Well, you have all that stuff, and I know you used to do an open mic at the place called the Pickled Herring in Northeast on Main Street.
The Pickled Herring Pub, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those were some good times.
Started with Lance Rowe. I'm not even sure what year that would have been. I probably should have texted him and grilled him a little bit.
Right.
Through while he owned it, and then sold it to Kevin, and it was a good 5 years or so. A couple of different cast of characters, as far as the backup band. But it was every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night, holding down a full-time job and a family, and then playing music every Wednesday night. And again, it was like a kind of a revolving cast of the bass characters, and then whoever wanted to show up and play came out. And
I've been down there. It was good fun.
And then once a month I started doing a singer-songwriter night, because I think that's kind of there's the lack of that, I believe, in our area. I mean, there's a ton of people that write really good songs, young people, older people, whatnot, but there's not really a venue, to do that.
Well, we're fortunate that we can have you play your original music here. And folks, Cecil TV wants your original music too, so give us a ring-a-ding.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so so we did that. We did singer-songwriter once a month, and we had folks from Wilmington, from Philly, from downstate, Harford County would come over, and we would do 4 a night, in a 4-hour period, and it was good fun.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the younger folks that are out playing regular gigs now, all used to come out there. Olivia came out. Actually, John Ford, first time they ever came out, John Ford was playing guitar for her, and I'm sure she was still in high school.
I remember that.
At that point, I'm sure she was. Jen Miner, Andrew Robert. There's so many good young people that came out and played that, it was fun. It was fun to watch them evolved from then to now, what they're all doing
Right.
now, because they've all matured into very fine musicians and people,
Sure.
over the years. So good fun there.
You boat.
Oh yes.
You
Yeah.
used to captain the.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, and I still would occasionally. I would drive the for the Connells down at Schaefer's Canal House, the Bay Breeze.
Right.
Love Tom to death. He's the dock master down there. He and his son Steve, and I worked for them for 5 years, driving on Friday nights, driving the Bay Breeze for them. Just doing up and down the canal, and
But now you're
Basi-
going back to nature, though, right?
oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, I guess you could say that. And then we started. We bought another. My wife and I bought another sailboat, and we've started doing sailing. Well, we've been doing those for 5 years now, I guess, on the Northeast River, doing sailing charters as Sundance Sailing Charters LLC.
So if I wanted to bring maybe 4 or 5 of my friends together and go out and sail, how would we contact you at what again?
My website is comesailwithme.net. So that's really original, right?
You come sail with me. You gonna play the song for that tonight?
Yeah, right. And we're on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. And Google. It's fairly easy to find, because I used to call it Sundance Marine, but evidently there's another Sundance Marine in Florida that's huge.
Right.
So they were hard for me to compete with on the Google.
You didn't come up first, you mean?
Right. So I changed my name, and now I get better recognition than I did.
Good.
But yeah, I
good.
mean we've been doing it for 5 years. Even last year during COVID, I mean, we didn't do anything up through like 4th of July, and because I couldn't get any good direction from anybody on, as far my insurance company didn't. They were kind of like pushing it off on me. The state didn't really have any guidance. So
Right, sure.
after the 4th, we just started doing a couple here and there, and then all of a sudden they just like the dam busted loose, because that was one thing you could do
Right.
during COVID, was you could go outside on a boat, and man, it just, I mean, I could have gone full time at that point
Right,
if I
right.
wanted, but
And a nice open air thing. And
it is, yeah.
where do most people like to? You go out of Northeast, right?
Wellwood Marina, yeah.
Where do most people like to go to?
Well, I mean, we're sailing, so it's not like we can go anywhere. I mean,
Oh, I see.
I
Right,
do
yeah.
90-minute trips,
Right.
basically. So, however the wind's blowing or whatever it's doing, we never get past Jackson's in 90
So you
minutes.
might go up the river one time,
Yeah.
then down the river the next.
Yeah, and and we're sailing, sailing around here is more of a spring and a fall kind of a deal.
Right.
So, like when you're like in middle of July, August or so, no guarantees. Sometimes it's a motorboat ride. Although this past year we had really good wind all summer long, so that was good. Good south wind, and that's our typical wind around here in the summer. So, no motorboat rides this year. It was all sailing.
That's awesome.
So.
You do a podcast. Before we get into the music, tell us a little bit about your podcast that you do.
Oh, Scott's Local Music Podcast. I will say right off the bat that I'm not very regular with it, and I should be better. I told myself I was going to be better at that with that this year, and I've still yet to do that. But yeah, we're on iTunes and what your favorite podcast aggregator, I guess maybe that's what they call them or whatever, but. It's called Scott's Local Music Podcast. You've been a guest.
Yes.
Thank you very
It's
much.
very enjoyable.
Yeah, we had good fun. It's just my interest is just like we're doing here. My interest is just to sit and talk with people about being a local musician in, the northern part of Maryland, Delaware, and just find what makes people tick. What started it all. Hopes
Right.
and aspirations and that sort of thing. I think there's only like 10 of them so far. I'd like to do one a month, and I need to get back on the stick and do that.
Always time for New Year's resolutions, Scott.
Yeah, I get it. Because I actually do a sailing podcast too. I don't think we mentioned that. We do one called Around the Bay with Scott and Sharon. So that sort of takes up summertime, and what I need to do is load up the winter with all these music things, so I can just, it's a cycle.
Right.
If I can get in a cycle, I'd probably do a whole lot better at it. But
Finally, you have a CD you're working on coming up.
yes, yeah, we're so like all the other musicians around, I mean, you know, we've all been writing things down, you know, and ideas and in the basement tapes, you know, for years now. And I've periodically tried to put this all together myself with different, buying, you know, my own digital software, and I couldn't do that. So there was a fella on Facebook that I met up with, Forest Hill Studios, and the cool thing about that is he's a sailor as well. He lived on a sailboat for a long time. He's sailed around the world on one. I mean, you know, he and I were just like right off.
Right.
You know,
Awesome.
like, dude, you're it. You got to make this for me, because I think, I mean, I'm all over the place with what I write about, but a lot of it is about being on the Chesapeake Bay and boating, and you know, it's not Margaritaville kind of stuff, but it's whatever kind of ville that we do on the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah,
for sure.
we do.
So
We got a
we're gonna
bill
work
going
that.
on.
Yeah. So we're gonna work on that this winter, and you know, because I was explaining to him. I said, you know, I have all these. I think some of them are pretty good. I like some of them, but I need you to get that out of me.
Right.
I need you to like grab me by the throat and say, Scott, you need this, and put this together for me. And so that's what we're doing.
Well, a good producer could do that.
Yeah, and I think this guy Terry, and he might be a good guy to have on here sometime as well, or maybe we'll come back together after we get
That
this
sounds
thing
great.
done, you know. And
So the songs you'll be playing tonight, are any of them going to be on this upcoming
yes,
CD?
yeah. So you and I have joked a couple different times. There's at least two of us in this part of Maryland that have songs about Natty Bo or contain Natty Bo. So we're going to do our Natty Bo song, and then I have a little Christmas thing that I mess with that will do that as well.
Well, Scott, every day's a holiday with you.
All right, brother.
Let's get with it.
Man, it's good to see you. Thank you, everyone.